As a leader, it's our responsibility to create space for that ask. It's not our responsibility to ask the question. It's our responsibility to force that question to the table.
How do you make sure that you set up people for success? Do they have to know the who, what, when, where? Do you have any checklist? What is it that you do to make sure that the execution doesn't go off the rails?
The way in which I communicate those expectations is going to vary depending upon the item. It's invariably going to be very specific in some areas and very general in others. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that we share an understanding, even if that understanding contains ambiguity. If there's ambiguity, it has to be mutual ambiguity. Because if it's mutual ambiguity, then we've identified an area that we have to solve problems on. If it's individual ambiguity, if they have ambiguity but I don't, that's the problem. And the way to avoid that is I ask for a brief back. I just say, tell me, what'd you hear? You now need to sell me on what my vision was. And if they start going down and I go, hold on a second, that sounds different than what we talked. Now we have to go back. So it really is a question of the way in which the first conversation goes is fairly free flowing. But then there's going to be a moment where I'm going to make sure that you're going to have to tell me back so that we're aligned. And then if we have that area of mutual ambiguity, at some point, I'm fully expecting you to come back and go, hey, I was thinking we could do this because we have the mutual ambiguity. But if I say, I want this, and you go, I'm not really sure I understand what that is, right? Now it's on you to ask that, but it's on me to force the opportunity for that. And I think that's where a lot of leaders really stub their toe is there's the assumption of understanding and there's not a forcing of a conversation to identify misunderstanding. Now there's absolutely no mutual ambiguity. Like we understand whose responsibility it is to ask. But as a leader, it's our responsibility to create space for that ask. It's not our responsibility to ask the question. It's our responsibility to force that question to the table. And so the way I do that is through the brief back.